What's good, Fight family, and welcome back to another episode of Combat X with Alan Dawson, brought to you by Swerve Combat. And you can watch us on Roku, Amazon Prime, Zumo, Vizio, Sling. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe because it helps the channel and it means we can keep bringing guests as big and as bad as my next one. He was one of the original street fighters, a cult hero in MMA. He possesses one of the most iconic knockouts of all time, the original baddest motherfucker in the game. This is Jorge Masvidal. What's happening, Gamebred? How you doing?
Freaking amazing, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good. It's always a good day catching up with you. I think you're so easy to write about from a reporter point of view. One of the favorite things I've ever written about in MMA was when I was locked up in a hotel room in quarantine in Abu Dhabi during COVID, and you were headlining against 𝐂𝐤𝐤𝐸 when we were in the Middle East. I spoke to you about the story from Street Fighter to Fight Island, and I feel like now it's kind of full circle with Gamebred MMA, bare knuckle MMA. Does it bring you back to those old days?
Yeah, no. In many ways, Kimbo opened up the doors for me in many ways when he allowed me to come fight for his platform, bare knuckle. So I always thought, it's something that would happen to me, and all champions have to do is get back to the next generation, help take it to the next level. So I thought of something, and I was like, you know what? Not only can I do something innovative that nobody else is doing, there's no other MMA bare knuckle league in the world, but I give these guys to be on my platform a way to shine, make money for themselves and go out there and get it the same way that I did. So that's definitely a huge notch in my career. Something awesome that I really love.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. Just going from those days, early days on the internet, and having those street fighting brawls with Ray as well, it's kind of like lives long in combat sports lore, really. How much fun is it being this journey? You mentioned about like bringing it back and things like that, but considering everything you've achieved in MMA, how visible you've been, as a fighter, I mentioned you're a cult hero. I think you're one of the most liked and loved fighters in the whole sport. And now to be doing this, when you talk about the journey, it kind of all makes sense doing this, right?
Oh, definitely. I love the journey, the ups, the downs. It's just, man, I had the idea. We put the show together. It was right after Corona. We sold out the first event. Usually promoters don't make money. 5-6 years later, we actually made a little bit of money. We broke even and made a little bit of money. Got that money and invested in the next show and kept on and kept on and kept on. We've been doing this close to 74 years now in 2025. And it just keeps growing and getting bigger. And I'm giving more and more opportunities to guys. I'm giving big paychecks. There's a lot of guys that have made serious money with us. And there's not a greater feeling. On top of that, I got the rawest product in the world. And come November 15th, I get to prove it again. If you want fights, if you want this beautiful vitals, the scientific fucking means of bare knuckle fighting, you gotta watch my show, man. We got 12 UFC veterans to make a total of 11 fights.
When we talk about like BMFs and what it means to be a bad motherfucker, I mean, these guys you've got on your roster, they kind of exude what it means to be a BMF, right? Because as soon as you take off the gloves, I mean, there's no hiding as soon as you get in the ring or the octagon or wherever you're fighting. But as soon as you take off the gloves, I think it brings another element of it.
The bullets are flying both ways. You get hit one, you get dropped someone. It's a different world. You feel the tension that whole week. But, being like at a weigh-in of MMA glove and no glove, it's a big difference, right? The tension is so much thicker. The guys are at a different mindset, and I've been at all levels. It's a different setting when you take those gloves off, and these guys going, and they're in a different fucking setting when it's fight week, man. I love it,
Oh, I remember when, like, one of the first times you and I spoke, we were talking about what it means to be a BMF, and you told me Donald Trump was a BMF. He's just won re-election, literally like in the last 24 hours, president-elect now. When was the last time you spoke to the Trump family? Have you sent congratulations to Don Jr.? Because I know you were on the campaign trail with them. I think, was it 2020 in Florida? So I know you're close with the Trump family. Have you spoken to them since their success?
To Don Sr., yes, send him some messages. We've been in talks. Wow. It's just an amazing feeling. In 2020, I went to see Trump was ahead. I woke up, Trump lost. It was like the weirdest fucking shit ever. Still to this day, I'm calling that election was major fish, major funny. I think it was rigged. And this one, I think, I had like the same feeling. Like Trump was considerably ahead by a lot. This one more than 2020 when I went to see tonight. But I still went with that nasty, dirty feeling. Like I'm going to wake up in this weird ass dystopia again. Thank goodness I woke up. It was like 4th of July and Merry Christmas all at once. It was the freaking greatest and best day. Thank God this man got elected, they can not just save America, but the rest of the world. We see what's happening in the rest of the world if you're talking politics. I mean, how many wars are going on right now? How many more ending wars are going on? All that right now, we're about to see like if we're a magic motherfucking wand, it's gonna go away.
Jorge, what do you think about like, you know, when you, I mean, you were early on MAGA and Trump. You know, I know you.
2016 Playboy.
But do you think like being a Trump supporter now is different from like when you first expressed support? Because, you know, 4, 5, you know, even 8 years ago, there was so much kind of animosity toward MAGA. There still kind of is, but
a lot of dumb comments back then. Some of the most stupid shit I've heard was from always like from Democrats, you know, from like other Latin Democrats, you know, white Democrats telling me I'm an idiot. How could I vote for like a racist nigga? Just a lot of attacks from the Democrats, you know, basically. And it's like, dude, you're not gonna change my mind.
what did you think of Dana White's speech at the you know, kind of victory parade Trump had yesterday? You know, Dana White was he's been front and center with Trump for a while, but I don't know, it looked like he was even more kind of in there with Trump last night, and the speech was pretty good. What did you think of Dana White seeing the UFC boss, you know, right there with the president-elect?
I love it because a lot of, you know, sports teams, owners, and things like that don't want to do this, you know, and owners of leagues don't want to do that. You know, they don't want to use their powerful platforms, voices to spread the word and say what's the common sense is already known that, hey, Kamala's bad for the country. Biden's bad. She had 3 years and a half in here and didn't do a damn fucking thing but fuck it up, you know. So Kamala's is a joke, you know, and when these people don't stand up and say nothing, it's like, man, you're almost siding. You know, we need to be brave, and you need to be willing responses to let go of for many bad things to happen. Get on monetize on Facebook. All these things will happen. But you know what? It's for the greater good. It's for the greater of this country. Since I started coming out for Trump, the amount of sponsors, endorsement deals, and monetization that I've lost is a lot. But ask me if I give a F. Ask me if I lost any sleep over it. I'm talking about I lost thousands of dollars, you know, over a period of like 4 years. What it would have been probably like a couple millions of dollars in endorsement deals and fucking everything that I had going on. But ask me if I get this fuck.
What do you think Dana White would be like as president of the US? Do you think he would ever run? Because he's actually there's bookies now offering odds on Dana White being president.
He'd be freaking great, actually, you know, because he's a businessman. He's a stabby dude. He's been negotiating with some of the world's toughest mother effers, you know, in his whole life. So he'll be able to handle himself in those like big situations.
And another big news coming from you is you recently signed a deal with Ali Abdelaziz. You know, considering Ali's relationship at, you know, both the UFC and PFL, you know, Masvidal comeback, it seems almost guaranteed now. You know, how do you know, what organization are you kind of directing towards?
UFC. That's what we're coming with. We're coming UFC next year.
Yeah.
Working out the details, getting the dates, getting the card set up. It's definitely UFC, brother.
Yeah, has to be. And there's so many opponents that, you know, you've been linked to Conor McGregor before. I'm not sure he's really bit to come back. It seems like if that would have happened by now, probably, you know, it would have done. Leon Edwards, you know, you've got like the two-piece and the soda rivalry with him. Who would you most want to come back against?
Leon Edwards.
Leon makes sense.
If we could beat Leon Edwards, let's get it going. Let's roll the dice. Let's go to number one guy in the world and find out if I am who I say I am or not. You know, I want to fight the world's best. I always want to fight the world's best. I'll go and fight Leon. He's number one. I've been at the game for a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe I shock the world. Maybe I don't. But you know what? I'm going to bet 100% on me. I'm going to roll the dice on me every time. And between me and you, Leon's scared of me, man. He's never wanted this, you know. Here I am right now calling out your name. You ain't got to fucking fight. I ain't got to fucking fight. What's up, motherfucker?
I mean, you've given us so many moments in MMA and UFC. You've beaten Michael Chiesa, Cerrone, Darren Till, Ben Askren, Nate Diaz. You know, it would be great to see you back in there, Jorge, especially because, you know, you were the original BMF, and we've seen the BMF title, you know, again and again in the UFC, especially this year. Max Holloway pointing at the floor and knocking out Justin Gaethje in like literally a buzzer-beating knockout. You know, I don't think that will ever be beaten. You know, you've got the quickest knockout, he's got the latest one. and then Ilia Topuria as well, the rise of him. You know, what's your take on the BMFs that are in the UFC at the moment?
I mean, Max is one of my, I'm never shy on Max. When I get asked the question, he's one of my favorite fighters, period. Period. I mean, I don't care. This guy's one of the best ever, you know? I think at 145, his title run is very indicative of it. And the way he finishes the fighting spirit, I'm the biggest Max fan, but Ilya is another guy that I'm a huge fan. Ever since he's been in the UFC, I was telling people he's going to be world champion. I've been calling it like his second fight. I've been telling everybody about Ilya. So he's like my little brother, man. And I knew a lot of his potential because I got to train with him a lot. I got to spend a lot of time with him. I got to see how good he is on the ground. I got to train with him. I got to see him fucking sparring and hurt people. I was like, bro, this guy's gifted, you know? And even then I was, man, but to beat a guy like Max and like that, I don't know, man. I think, you know, it's going to be a good fight. I think Ilya's going to beat him, but I wouldn't have thought he did what he did. And that's tough to Ilya, bro, because there's no ceiling for this guy right now. This guy could take it as far as he wants to, and it's scary. To go through a guy like Max, which I think is one of the best fighters that has walked planet rules, it's scary. It's really scary. And all those 40 fighters that are talking shit that are saying they ain't scared, they're worried, bro. Because let me tell you, this guy can grapple. I've worked extensively with Ilya for a long time, and he's only gotten better. Originally worked out. His wrestling, it's on point. You know, some wrestlers are gonna come looking for him. He's gonna be right there to answer him. Yeah. Some good strikers come looking for him. Maybe guys that might be a little bit more polished, not better, but more polished in striking. But we'll take him down and beat him up, man. He's a real life bond.
The way you talk about these guys like Max, especially considering how legendary he is, like at the end of his UFC contract, is that somebody you'd like reach out to bring into Gamebred?
Man, it'd be an honor to have Max, but of course, you know, that's saying Max is still fighting and stuff like down many years from now. For those if you want to be banned up, obviously Max and legs and status, well, we love to have Max. Who knows, you know?
Oh, hey, it's always a pleasure catching up with a guy like you. You're an original. You're one of one. Is there anything else you think our audience on Swerve Combat should know about you, Gamebred, the comeback? Anything else you want to share about sports or life? The floor's yours.
First and foremost, thank Jesus Christ, God Almighty, my Lord and Savior, for every moment. This great American and world moment right now just happened on today. The president-elect has been selected, Mr. Donald Trump. What's up, me? Ain't thinking all right? And to all my fans, thank you. And to all the GFC fans, thank you. Because it has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with the fans and the fighters that are putting it all on the line to deliver this product.
100%. That was Combat X, Jorge Masvidal on Swerve Combat.